Hi everybody, this is the third time I'm going to do this video. Mercury's in retrograde, remember? Okay, I'm not even going to go through all the snafus. We're just going to talk here. I wanted to actually touch base with you about a question that was posed to me about enlightenment. How do they become enlightened? Well, I've never met anyone personally who has achieved enlightenment. That is a rarity, as far as I know. I don't even know if anybody on this earth is truly enlightened. There are people with great spiritual awakenings, however, and those are steps that lead to enlightenment eventually. And spiritual awakenings start with life lessons, karma, and all of that crap that we need to go through called challenges. All right, so let's start with this. Enlightenment, I guess, is a noun. It's a state of being. Spiritual awakenings is a verb. It is getting to that place. And I think that it's important to know what it is and what it's not. But they're steps, even baby steps. Just like when you wake up in the morning, you don't, well, maybe some of you just pop right out of bed, but it's usually done in stages, even if they're quick stages. Let's talk about how we get to the awakenings. That would start with your karma and life lessons and things you agreed to before you got here, which is a little different than the awakenings, but it does start with planning the life map, be up there for all intents and purposes before we get here. There's definitely a guideline that we come with, even though we can't pull it out of our back pocket and look at it, unfortunately. But on some level, deep in your consciousness, you are very well aware of what's supposed to happen. And you get inklings sometimes through coincidences and through forks in the road that, you got to go with your gut. Where we land is based on the decisions we made along the way. Happiness or unhappiness is your responsibility. And I'm not saying that everything is in your control, but a lot of times we find we're unhappy. It's because of those choices that we made. And we have to correct the course. So let's talk first about patterns in your life. I mean, unhealthy patterns. And let's say you make the same poor choice over and over again, and it never works out well, right? So kind of like the definition of insanity. Let's use an example of picking romantic partners or just partners in general. Have you ever met anybody that just keeps making bad choices, picking their type, and it's just not a good type? It never ends well. And then they wonder, why me? Why do I keep finding these people? Well, maybe you need to get into therapy and find out. But until you change that pattern and you realize what you're doing, see how closely related realizing and awakening is. They're very related. And when you realize something, you can drop that bad habit. You can drop that bad choice and do something different. And when that is finally done, like where you can go, gosh, I'm so glad I did this, or smoking. I'm so glad I quit smoking. I feel so much better. There's this aha moment, that you don't need something bad in your life anymore. Whatever it is, people or things or food or whatever. When you come to that realization and you actually own it, not bullshit yourself. When you own it, you have this I feel freer. That is a moment of spiritual growth. And that growth came from the awakening. Make sense? Now, how do you get there? You pay attention. Because there's not a roadmap that we have for that. But there's lots of opportunities along the way. Spirit is talking to us all the time. Loved ones on the other side are talking to us all the time. Spirit guides talking to us all the time. And those are the first points of contact, those spirit guides. You don't need to know their names. Just know that you're not alone. They send you signs. They present those forks in the road. Don't be impulsive. If it didn't work out last time, what makes you think it's going to work out this time? You've got to make a little bit of a change, even if it's a small tweak. Right? I mean, success is based on a whole bunch of failures that came first. Usually. I mean, some lucky bastard got it off the first time. That's fine. But life is full of failures. And you got to get out there and live. Because you're not going to grow spiritually if you are not living. And even if you're bedbound, there's something you can do. You've got the internet, you've got books. There is always a way to find growth. I mean, it doesn't have to be through difficult challenges, but more often than not, it is. Or it has happened and we haven't realized it. Let me give you an example on how to measure your growth. Think about where you were 10 years ago and where you are now. You're in a different life, most likely. Circumstances have changed greatly. And maybe you feel more free. Maybe you feel more light. Maybe you have grown because of wisdom. And wisdom comes from the experiences. So I want you to really think about that. Where were you 10 years ago? Or even 5 years ago? And imagine that same time in front of you, another 5 years or 10 years. You're not going to be this person that you are now. We are always evolving. And with that comes that awakening. And you get closer to enlightenment. I don't know how many lifetimes it takes for enlightenment. I'm not an expert in that. But I am definitely well versed in spiritual awakenings. And I'm definitely not perfect. I don't know when enlightenment comes. For me, I mean, it could be many lifetimes. But I don't know the rules. I just know how it happens. And for me, that's the experience that we have with our lives and taking stock in them. A life unexamined is a life not worth living. I think I got that right. So take stock in your life. Examine your past and give yourself some credit on the things that you have learned along the way. Okay? Because that means you have been awakening this whole time. And some people just feel like they're never going to get there. They're never, it's a journey, right? Not the destination, it's the journey. And I don't think enough people give themselves credit for how much they have achieved. Maybe there's this free feeling of letting go of things that no longer serve you. Relationships. Priorities are different. Maybe you were always a people pleaser and you couldn't say no to anybody. And now you definitely say yes to yourself. I'm not doing that anymore, that crap. Though I don't know what the hell I was thinking. When you can look back and look at yourself today in comparison to material goods, for instance, consumerism, stuff, not important anymore. If you're following me with the chakras, and we talked about the lower chakras being the physical earth chakras, and the energy points up here are about the spiritual. It's hard to be down here and live up here at the same time, to some extent. So a lot of us might go just back and forth, I mean, we're here to live on earth life, but you treat that earth life so much more different because you feel more spiritual. You feel a new connection to God. You feel a new connection to the source and the higher power, whatever your higher power might be. Then you can really look at it and have an even bigger aha moment. And perhaps even that realization will help you grow a little bit more. And I think that we all need to take assessment in our achievements and our goals, the past and the present and the future. It's all one little ball, and we just keep going, keep doing better. When you're getting there, when you care more about people, when you stop to help others, when that means something to you to be a humanitarian, and you care more, and you're less selfish, and you're more about noticing that we are all one, and it's just not me against you. It's not about that. You realize that we are all branches of the same tree trunk. Then you treat each other differently, and you view each other's needs differently, and you want to be there, and you root for people. All those things are big measuring sticks for growth. And if you've grown, then you've been awakening. Okay, so not a long video. I'm kind of making shorter videos and trying to make them a little more often. So I'm going to continue to try to do 2 videos a week here, at least. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing Vlogmas this year, but I am definitely going to try to step up my game. And if you can share this video, like, subscribe, I appreciate it. It's a little channel. It's growing very slowly. That's okay. But I'm here. If you have questions, would you please comment below? That's even more important than the liking and the subscribing. I love to get your comments. I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, that said, talk to you soon. Bye.